trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity seems louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity seems louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Rock and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity seems louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, and don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you haven't been receiving notifications. All right. Hello, Lillian X. Mr. Elevation is in virtual building. All right, Desmond, DJ Big Six with the people. Judah Homecoming. All right, that Crazy Beach Aries. Bronze Flat Power God. All right, G from the Land. Dangerous. Anita Harrell. Okay, let's get into it. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, Reggie. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes, and then we'll get into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, and she also sells beard oil. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Everybody hit that like button. That's the way you can support the channel absolutely for free. Doesn't cost you anything. All right, so now let's talk about Druski and this skit that he did that was very accurate, in my opinion, of Erika Kirk. Okay, and with that all being said, you know, the conservatives are mad. They're clearly triggered. There are people calling Druski a racist, and I'm going to let you all see some of the comments, okay, in this report by the Daily Mail. So they say, outrage as comedian dons whiteface to cruelly mock Erika Kirk's public appearances in wake of Charlie's murder. First of all, you ought to pay attention. To cruelly mock. Are they really, you know, reaching? Because it was for jokes. I mean, we all know that comedians historically have imitated people, right? And made fun of them. That's what comedians do. So why are they so pressed? And here's the thing that gets me. They're trying to compare whiteface to blackface. And there is no comparison because historically, black people have never used whiteface to demonize and vilify white people. Okay? To oppress them and to humiliate them. Never done that. To be used in any kind of hateful manner. It's never been done. Whenever a black person has done that, it was always for a joke. Now, on the other hand, we know that there's a nefarious history in this country of racism and them mocking us with blackface to demean us and to humiliate black people. Okay, even with movies, rather than hiring black actors and actresses, they had white actors and actresses don blackface to further disparage us. So there is no comparison, and they really need to sit the hell down as far as I'm concerned. And it's very interesting that the racist people, the most racist people on the planet, which are conservatives, okay, in my opinion, the ones who call themselves Christian nationalists, the most nefarious. So with that all being said, they're the last ones who should be trying to put the finger of blame and shame. And one lady even sounded so obtuse to me and clearly was speaking in an oxymoron because she said that it was racist. She was talking about Druski. She was basically saying, oh, if I did that, it would be racist. But because he's doing it, it's not racist because he's black and black people can't be racist, right? Then she says, but we don't think it's racist. We just think it's disgusting. And we don't think it's racist because we don't play the victim. So they're trying to say that black people play the victim because we talk about racism, speak out against racism, hate racism, deplore racism. First of all, we are the victims. That's the fact. We're not playing the victims. We are the damn victims in this country. I don't know why they try to pretend they're so stupid. Well, you know, some of them are so stupid, specifically MAGA. But my thing is, how are they trying to act like they don't get it? We are the victims in this country. The victims of chattel slavery, the victim of Jim Crow, okay, segregation, oppression, blacklining, redlining, or black codes, redlining, you name it. Okay? You name it. Stolen land, stolen wealth, denial of jobs because of the way you look and all of that. And so please miss us with it. Okay. Stop saying we're playing the victims when we are the victims. You don't have to play or pretend to be something that you actually are. But you know who does play the victim? Racist white people. Okay, please pay attention. That's what they do. Okay, and I'm going to show you a prime example of that right out of Erika Kirk's own mouth. Okay, so anyway, let's get into this article where they're talking about poor Druski and saying that he was racist and cruelly mocking Erika Kirk. Anywho, let's get into it. Now, and you know what's funny is they had a whole lot more to say about Druski's skit, which was done all in fun, than they had to say when that white foreign tennis player, and I forget her name. You all remember the tennis player who mocked Serena Williams? What was her name when she put the stuff in her boobs and her butt? Do y'all remember who I'm talking about? Hold on. Yeah, they didn't seem to be so upset about that. Matter of fact, they thought it was funny. Carolyn was a Wozniacki. Okay, Wozniacki or something like that, a Danish tennis player. Y'all remember. Okay, please. Now, they didn't have any of this to say about that, which I find interesting and also hypocritical. Okay, now, a controversial black comedian has sparked outrage online after donning prosthetics and whiteface to mock Erika Kirk's public appearances after her husband, Charlie Kirk, was fatally shot. Now, with that all been said, they also want to throw in Charlie Kirk and just to make it seem more dramatic and so much more nefarious than it actually is. Okay, so Drew Desbordes or Druski posted a video where he was seen dressed in a blonde wig, makeup, a cross necklace, and prosthetics to mock conservative women. So he's mocking more than one woman. So now he's going in on all conservative women. You all see how they grossly exaggerate and embellish the stories and spew racist rhetoric and propaganda. But let's continue. The video captioned How Conservative Women in America Act saw the 31-year-old comedian create the mock viral videos of Erika Kirk during her public appearances after her husband Charlie was fatally shot in September. How many times do they have to say that? And listen to the wording of it. Charlie Kirk after he was fatally shot. Okay, but anyway, let me continue. Kirk took on a large role in Turning Point USA, Charlie's nonprofit that focuses on engaging young college and high school students on conservative politics. Now, she faced waves of backlash following her husband's death, with many saying that her grief was appearing performative or disingenuous. Well, many people did say that, and many of the people that did say that look just like her. Okay, they're people of her own skin tone, so why weren't they so mad at them? Now, goes on to say, in the beginning of the video, Druski was seen dressed in a white pantsuit while dancing. Well, just forget all that. We'll go to the footage. And with that all been said, because there is some music in the video, I'm going to mute some of it because we don't need any copyright claims or strikes. Okay, with that all being said, and likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. Yeah, peaceful living. I absolutely agree. I do think that she is very fake. I must say so myself. And most of her fans and Charlie's fans are racist. And so that's what I'm saying. Now they're crying about racism. Make it all make sense.
In Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
Have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Organic.
Four, three.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, but that was hilarious. Okay. That was hilarious. Peaceful Living said he nailed it. Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, now let's go to this TikToker who did her commentary on that. Everything, she's just showing the video and talking over it. But And she was just pointing out all of the similarities, and I thought it was interesting. So let's
Oh,
continue.
I am willing to bet that Erika Kirk is pissed about the new skit that Druski just released. Can't nobody say that this man is not funny. And I fear Druski ate. The first part of this skit, he shows up with the sparklers in that all-white outfit. Let me tell you, he got the look right all the way from the hair on her head to the shoes on her feet. Stop. Then the devil stare that nobody can forget. And once again, I fear Druski ate. Then he goes into the weird, awkward scenes where it always feels like she's making herself look like she's crying. And no, he couldn't forget the hand gesture, because she never fails to do this after she gets done looking like she's about to cry. And then throwing his twist on Erika Kirk's weird speeches that just never land right. I just know Erika Kirk right now is sitting back looking at this skit with those devilish eyes. She is so mad about this, because I'm afraid that Druski didn't miss one time with his representations of Erika Kirk. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Okay, I don't see any problem. I don't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was quite frankly hilarious. Okay, why is everybody mad? And here's the thing. I mean, we already know that she's racist. Okay, she's racist herself. All right. So I'm sorry. Why are they complaining? And if you don't think she's racist, just listen to this.
So Erika Kirk just said this.
Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man. Don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there, strong men who are convicted.
Okay, first of all, as a young white male man, what the fuck is a mailman? This isn't fucking FedEx, bro. And second of all, in the big 2026, are we still seriously talking about white people being oppressed in America? It's shit like this that makes America the laughingstock of the world. Other countries look at this lady crying about how oppressed white people are in the United States and think we're an absolute joke. I'm embarrassed to be an American alongside someone like her.
Yeah, because she's definitely trying to paint them as the victims. Okay, so please pay attention. She's definitely trying to paint them as the victims, and how you know that's exactly what she was doing is because she said, don't let anybody ever disenfranchise you. When have they ever been disenfranchised? Please make it all make sense. Now, let me go to some of these comments. Let me go to some of the comments and things that people had to say. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Disenfranchised. First of all, here's the thing. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay, so white men make up like 31 or somewhere between 30 to 33% of the population, right? Okay, so what percentage of white men have been presidents? Okay, like 99%, right? Okay, with that all being said, most of the CEOs in the United States are who? White men. I know it's like over 90+%. Okay. At the end of the day, white men, though they make up like 30+% of the United States population, they are the ones at the top of the food chain. There's never a time where they have been oppressed. There's never a time when they have been disenfranchised. Okay, so they need to miss me with it. Okay, at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, let's go to these comments. One person said, thought you were funny before. This is just disgusting. And then another one said, what a cruel, cruel world we live in. A third one says, you might need your own security detail after this. That sounds like a threat. And another wrote, reverse the racist and you're a racist, but you're black, so you can't be racist, right? The good part is I don't find it racist, nor do any other white folks. We're not professional victims. We just find it not funny, stupid, disgusting, and cruel. Okay, please pay attention. Then another one said, "Sir, you are a racist." Another one said, "How a pitiful misogynist acts in America." Okay, there you can see all the comments right there. The devils are clearly mad. Okay, they are clearly pressed. Now, this one says, "This opens blackface for everyone, by the way." Ha! That's somebody who's clearly been wanting to wear blackface. Okay, then another one says, "All conservative women in America, why her? This woman is still grieving." Still grieving? Still grieving? She wasn't even still grieving 7 days after the man died. At least she didn't look like it when she was on that podcast, all laughs and giggles. Are y'all hearing this? She's still grieving. And first of all, how would they know if she's still grieving? Did she tell them that? And then another one says, seeing a lot of, but if a white person does blackface, okay, whatever. Caucasians never suffered racial prejudice in their entire existence. They were never enslaved. This can't be offensive to them. Exactly. They do not have a right to be offended by this as we never enslaved them. Of course. Okay, so anyway, but others slammed those who were outraged by the skit. The same conservatives who claimed liberals can't take a joke are very offended by this hilarious video. Some felt the outrage reaction was hypocritical, which it is. It says, "Why is it only acceptable when comedians make jokes about the black community, but the moment someone does something about a white person, y'all cry wolf, soft as babies-ish?" Okay, the same people who are mad about this were all laughing and making memes of George Floyd when he passed away, but this is somehow too far. That's all true. Do you all remember how they were doing skits? Do you all remember how they were doing skits? And some of them even had like a black friend of theirs who was just as stupid as them to even go along with it, lying on the ground, and they put their knee on the neck and they made all these stupid memes and all of this stuff. But they have the nerve to be upset about comedy. Turning Point USA declined to comment at this time. This, however, is not Druski's first time donning whiteface. After he had himself made up in full whiteface for an online skit in which he parodied NASCAR fans. The comic was filmed walking around NASCAR's Southern 500 race in South Carolina in overalls, a mullet, and even a fake sunburn, mingling jovially with cheerful white attendees and putting on a caricatured Southern accent. Y'all see him? Doesn't he look just like a whole white man? And I don't even think they knew that he wasn't. I don't even think that they knew that he wasn't. Look at the fake suntan. Who's doing his makeup for this stuff? It's hilarious. Okay, so anyway, they can be mad all they want. That's what they can do. Yeah, it was funny. Okay, so now let's get into some of the things that's going on with Erika Kirk, with her, because for one, you know, while I was getting some receipts for this, I found that Joe Kent, do you all remember Joe Kent, the former director of cybersecurity? Do you all know that this man is supposed to be testifying in the Charlie Kirk murder case? And also, he claims that he was stopped from investigating Charlie's murder. So I find that all interesting, because why? You would think that people would want it investigated, right? Even if they thought it was Tyler Robinson, if somebody else of his stature and his what's the word I'm looking for? His authority, right? Why would they think that he didn't know what he was talking about, or that maybe he wasn't on? So let's go to this interview that he did with Piers Morgan, Joe Kent, ex-director of counterterrorism. I think I said cybersecurity, but counterterrorism is what I meant, on improper investigation into Charlie Kirk's murder and potential foreign involvement. Now, I haven't watched this. I just saw it and thought it would be a good clip. Now, I did see part of another one, another interview that he did, but I guarantee you, Piers Morgan, okay, is going to try to probably go in on him a little bit, thinking that he's talking about BB's people. And maybe he is talking about BB's people. I don't know. Okay, but let's get into it.
That you're skeptical that Tyler Robinson, who confessed to killing Charlie Kirk, was the lone shooter. You also said the FBI did not properly investigate his killing. And so the FBI was pretty forceful in saying, we couldn't investigate further. I saw no action being taken. And you alluded to potential foreign involvement. Now, this is, as you know, sparked a lot of kickback from Charlie Kirk fans and former colleagues. First, did you stand by what you said? And would you like to elaborate on it?
I do. Look, I want justice for Charlie Kirk, as I think every American does. The National Counterterrorism Center's purview was investigating all foreign ties. I think based on what we've seen in the public, there was folks who had pre-knowledge of Charlie Kirk's assassination. From my vantage point at NCTC, I don't believe that a complete investigation was done. And so I think that's important. As far as the case against Tyler Robinson goes, I can't speak to him. It sounds to me like they have enough evidence to convict him that will play out in the court of law. But from my vantage point, what we were responsible for, I believe there was more work to be done.
And is your gut feeling that he did not act alone?
The potential of him having assistance, again, with the people saying they had pre-knowledge, with the people jumping up in the crowd and claiming that they were the one who took the shot, it does appear that there could be additional people that had pre-knowledge of it. I think that's about all that I can say on that. And again, from my vantage point in NCTC during the investigation, I don't believe that we were able to run down every single lead possible.
And in relation to possible foreign involvement, have you got any clarity about where that may have come from?
All I can say is that there was more work for us to be done in terms of the investigation itself, and so I just have to leave that there.
Now I want you all to pay attention. You know what I think? I think that the reason Joe Kent is being dragged, because they're dragging this man now, and I think the reason he's being dragged is because they know that he knows, or that he thinks they know that he thinks, perhaps, I'm guessing, speculating, can't substantiate it. Let me just say, but I think that man thinks that the same people that Candace Owens thinks had something to do with it. I think he thinks the same thing. And I think they know that's what he thinks, and that's why he's being dragged. And that's why they wanted to silence him and stop the investigation, because it all sounds very suspicious. Now, if one's husband is killed, even if they say they have the person in custody, and as I said, somebody in his position that he was holding, and he was good at his job, supposedly. Okay, he was the director. That means he was the top dog. So with that all being said, wouldn't you even want to listen to whatever he had to say, to add to it, to make sure that you crossed all of your T's and dotted all of your I's, and that you left no stone unturned? Why would you be angry at this man? Why would you want him to shut up? And why is it that another whistleblower claims to have been harassed? People following them to their house and taking pictures. What's going on here? Somebody's doing a whole lot of trying to cover up something. Okay, so I have questions. Now let's go to this next interview clip. Reggie says he probably has pertinent information regarding logistical. Exactly. Also, by the way, I meant to comment, someone said that Erika Kirk is a Mason. Women can't be Masons, so you likely mean an Eastern Star. Whatever she is, I do believe she's nefarious. That's just my opinion, and has a whole lot to hide also, in my opinion.
To move on to the Charlie Kirk investigation, you have said that you wanted to investigate a potential foreign nexus involved in the assassination attempt. I'd like for you to perhaps expand on what you meant by that. Do you believe that Tyler Robinson was the shooter, but perhaps that he didn't act alone? Or do you think that someone else entirely was responsible for Charlie Kirk's death?
I'm not questioning the case against Tyler Robinson. I mean, that's going to play out in court. There's DNA on the weapon, et cetera. That because Tyler was an American, that wasn't really part of what we were looking at. My broader point is that we knew once Charlie was assassinated that there was people who had prior knowledge. There was folks in the crowd, the guy who jumped up and claimed immediate credit for killing Charlie Kirk and some sort of a diversion. it does appear that there are more leads that we need to run down to include the foreign nexus. There was quite a few. There was a lot of international attention, I'll just say, on Charlie Kirk himself, because he was an international figure, he was a national figure, and I know that NCTC was not allowed to fully complete a lot of this investigation. I understand the DOJ and the FBI will say, well, we did complete it. So I understand what they're going to say, but in my view, that work just simply wasn't done.
And you said that you were stopped from investigating this. Who specifically stopped you?
We were the FBI restricted our ability to investigate.
And did that come specifically from Director Patel?
It did. Yeah, it was part of a discussion that he and I had back and forth. And then ultimately that was the decision that was.
I want to move on to the Charlie Kirk investigation. You have said that.
Now, I find that very interesting. I find that all very interesting because why wouldn't they want this thoroughly investigated? Starseed says, I believe Erika really didn't care that he died. Body language tells all. Listen, I definitely don't think she cared. And also, you know, there are some rumors that they were about to get a divorce, but we're going to get into all of that. But first, let's talk about Laura Loomer, okay? The one that looks like the thing from Saw. Because here's the thing, this is from Hindustan Times. It says, Laura Loomer's shocking claim about Erika Kirk's TPUSA amid Joe Kent's testimony. Okay, and then saying, we'll never get justice for Charlie. Laura Loomer claimed that Erika Kirk's Turning Point USA was reaping the consequences of platforming people who were now trying to destroy the organization. She's a far-right activist and Donald Trump loyalist. She blamed Erika Kirk's Turning Point USA amid the row over Joe Kent's testimony. Now, Kent, the former director of the U.S. National Counterterrorism Center, resigned from his post over the Iran war. He recently suggested that he'd be willing to testify in Charlie Kirk's murder trial, sparking outrage among TPUSA members. Why would they be outraged? They should be thrilled. Now, Kirk, the founder of TPUSA, was shot and killed in September of 2025 while he was attending an event at the Utah Valley University. Now, authorities have arrested Tyler Robinson and are trying him, but Kent seems to suggest that there could have been more to Kirk's case. This gave ammunition to several people who have been trying to point to a foreign conspiracy, including Candace Owens. Loomer waded into the controversy, attacking those supporting Kent's version of events, while also taking TPUSA to task for not being harsher in the past. Loomer she took to X to criticize the staff at TPUSA, which is now run by Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow. Now, she says the staff at Turning Point USA are fully being forced to face reality after a bombshell new report confirmed former NCTC Director Joe Kent is actually willing to take the stand in defense of Charlie Kirk's killer. Loomer continued saying, while TPUSA hosts like Blake Neff are saying they feel betrayed, I do believe this is the perfect moment for some of them to take personal accountability for originally platforming the exact same obsessed, she's talking about BB's people, Islamic sympathizing grifters who have hijacked their movement and are now trying to destroy TPUSA with lies. She went on to say, Neff claims that he is fed up with the vile conspiracy theories protecting his friend's assassin, yet he is entirely too cowardly to call out his own former boss and frequent TPUSA event speaker, Tucker Carlson, for pushing that same exact garbage. Okay, so clearly she doesn't like Tucker Carlson, and they're going in on him because basically him and Candace have been saying about the same thing. Okay, they've been saying pretty much the same thing. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this person who was being harassed. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. They say that they have been followed. Okay, here we go.
A former Turning Point USA employee's house because she won't stop saying Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, had him killed.
What's up? What's the deal here? Are you trying to like come intimidate us or?
No, sir.
No,
No,
not at all.
Sir.
No.
I was asked to take pictures. That's it.
You're just asked to come and take pictures of the house that we live at.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the same time, Turning Point USA is quietly and systematically firing anyone who asks questions about how Charlie Kirk actually died.
The stories that are coming out right now.
Hold on, let me get my overlay for Candace.
First person accounts over a round of firings. Stories are stunning. Truly stunning.
And based on how Erika Kirk has been acting since, September 10th, you can kind of see why people are asking.
Stop.
It feels like just days ago, we were watching leaked video of Erika Kirk on a Zoom call days after her husband was killed, giggling, laughing with somebody off screen, and then suddenly snapping back into sad widow character the second the Zoom started. She told the crew, "You're family, you're our staff, we will never abandon you." And it turns out, like most things at Turning Point USA and with the conservative movement, it was a crock of shit. So right now, we've got a former Turning Point USA communications director, somebody who was with the company for 5 years, posting unhinged Instagram confessional videos.
I just have a gut feeling that I was terminated from Turning Point because I am questioning the narrative of what happened to Charlie Kirk on the day of his assassination.
About an Uber driver who may or may not exist. We have a private investigator photographing her house while she films him right back. And we have Candace Owens on her YouTube show saying Erika Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct for questions.
Erika should be dragged into a police precinct.
And then there's a GoFundMe that's raised over $71,000 for everyone getting canned in what's literally being called the Turning Point USA purge. So when you build an empire, teaching people to question everything and trust no one, don't be shocked when they start questioning you. Erika's behavior in company meetings after Charlie Kirk's assassination has been strange as fuck, to put it delicately. Let's just say the internet has thoughts, and rightfully so. People who worked there said she wasn't grieving in the way you'd expect, wasn't mourning like a woman who just lost her husband to a bullet. And I don't know, maybe because she showed up in a glitter bodysuit and a smoky eye to the first Memorial Tour stop. She was running operations, making decisions, taking charge, and some employees started whispering, does this look like somebody in shock, or does this look like somebody who was maybe ready? His own people are now posting videos saying the official story does not add up. And I shit you not, his employees think his widow did it.
Okay, so the very employees that she told during the Zoom call that they were like family are now getting fired. Okay, some of them claim they have been fired because they were asking questions. Okay, now why would that be something to be problematic? I have several questions myself. Okay, let's continue. This is all nefarious. And guys, the reason I wasn't going to talk about this, even though I saw the stuff all over TikTok, is because I really don't care for Charlie Kirk. I never did. I think he was a racist, and I still think that. And so I didn't want it to come off as if I'm trying to figure out his murder. But at the end of the day, this is juicy. And I do think that Erika Kirk is absolutely nefarious and lying and just not telling, or I think she has a whole lot to hide. But also, there is a rich kid who's supposed to be the son of a billionaire, and I forget his name, but he supposedly knows Erika Kirk, and he came out and said some things about her too. So we're going to get to that in just a moment.
If you are still confused about everything happening surrounding the Charlie Kirk case, let me catch you up to speed, boo-boo, because it's real easy, and I will lay it out clearly. So just days before he was shot in broad daylight, Charlie Kirk sent private messages to a group chat that he was on with 9 other people saying that he was feeling massive pressure from these huge donors that were saying they wanted him to stay loyal to the blue and white team, our greatest ally, them. And he responded saying that he had no choice but to leave the blue and white cause. He was over the blue and white team, and he was Audi 5000, okay? He also said that he felt like something bad was going to happen, that he was going to be taken out. And then the very next day, he was in fact taken out. He was taken off the chessboard. He was a little man named Gandhi. You get it? He was gone. Dunzo. No mas. Anyways, the head of Turning Point PR shares that group chat with Joe Kent. And Joe Kent is the head, he's the director of the National Counterterrorism of the United States of America. He's a big deal. And so he gets these messages and he looks at them and goes, huh, that's interesting. I think that this is important enough that the public should see it. And the head of Turning Point PR goes, no, we should protect the people in that text chain rather than find out what happened to Charlie, rather than protect Charlie. Let's keep it a secret. And they did everything they could to keep it a secret, including denying that's even existing. Then Joe says, well, I have them already. And he begins to dig deeper and dig deeper, following up on credible leads about possible foreign involvement. Then the FBI shut that crap down immediately and said no more. So then Joe resigns in protest over that and the now war in Iran that Charlie Kirk was openly opposed to just weeks prior to his unaliving. And what does Turning Point do next? They attack Joe for leaking messages when the head of Turning Point PR already gave those messages to other people in addition to Joe. So I want you to pause and think about this. A man that helped build this movement is taken out. And instead of asking, how did Charlie seem to sense this was coming? How do we honor what he actually wanted? Who really did this? And why aren't we demanding full transparency? The focus becomes, who let the text messages out? Who let the text out? You. I don't understand the game that they're playing, because on what planet is that actually a real priority? There were so many moments when these people could have chosen transparency and unity and truth. Upon realizing that Charlie sent those messages to the text chain, which Andrew, the head of Turning Point PR, was a part of, you'd think that they would go absolute ape crap. They would go ballistic. They would go scorched earth on the FBI and everybody else that isn't doing the job of trying to find out, uncovering every stone. Them demanding answers is what you would think would have happened, especially Erika, man. And instead, every single time, the opposite happened. And I just like, something doesn't fit right, dude. You know what I mean? It's giving guilt, not grief. I want to know, what do you think is going on? What do you think is really happening here? Like, drop your thoughts below, because respectfully, we all deserve answers. They are not demanding answers. And you would think that being his best friends and his wife would be demanding answers from, but they're not. And it really is starting to upset me that we are having this whole game run on the public. If you look at all of these influencers, these people that were surrounding Charlie, it looks like they were all the Brutus. They were all like, you know what I mean? I can't even put my mind around it anymore, except for the fact that they seem like Corey Richins. They seem like someone that you hear about on a podcast, you know, but truth is stranger than fiction. We've all heard about these weird stories of these collusionary tales of people that were like actually trying to take someone out And this lone wolf story just doesn't add up. And I feel like we are going to find out that there was actually some foreign actors involved here. And if we find out that is the case, I personally am going to demand old school tar and feathering or something like that, that is something like we would do in 2026.
Tell you why that was so hilarious to me, because I didn't watch his video before playing it for you all. I just listened to like the first few seconds. And so, but with that all been said, it caught me off guard for one. But when he said, "Who let the text out?" the first thing that clicked in my head was that song. And then he sang it. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, but let's continue. I am so through. Shout out to him for that. That was informative and entertaining.
Charlie Kirk assassination just keeps getting more and more crazy by the second. And Turning Point in this organization, I don't know what the hell they are doing, but they have lost it. I mean, completely lost it. They're now having a meltdown because Joe Kett is willing to testify in the Charlie Kirk assassination trial. So why, if you were the organization that Charlie Kirk ran and then he got assassinated, why in God's green earth would the employees at your organization being upset that somebody that may have more information than they even have, they're clueless, they don't even have an idea what information Joe Kent has, but they're over here having an absolute mental breakdown because of it? The new Charlie Kirk show has a major meltdown after learning that Joe Kent is willing to testify in the Charlie Kirk assassination trial. They say that American people are betraying them. The show is demanding that no questions be asked about the assassination and that Israel not to be blamed. This is really personal. I'm fed up with it. Check this out.
Some people are so obsessed with these same conspiracies that they concoct for every other thing that ever happens. And so they have to shove it into this one too, because they care more about their conspiracy theories than about the person who murdered my friend facing justice. I am fed up with it.
Yeah, and you should be. And this is, I mean, this is a tough job for us today, to be honest, because this is really personal. I have been open to everything. I think, candidly, I don't get enough credit for even the fact that I shared these group chats in the first place. We shared a lot of information about trans, about Charlie, how Charlie was more concerned about than any other community about the trans coming after him. You want to know the truth? That's actually the truth. I heard over the course of the last 2 years of Charlie's life, probably about 50 references of how he knew that trans Tifa was going to come after him. And he was worried about that.
Okay, so Charlie Kirk wasn't worried about those other people coming after him that Candace seems to think, but he was worried about trans people coming after him. Okay, yeah, right. Let's continue.
That's the truth. Never mentioned one time about the Jews. Okay, never once. And here's why it's so frustrating, is because there is going to be even more evidence that is presented to the public in May at the evidentiary hearing. Okay. And it's a mountain of evidence, some of which has been made public, some of which has not been made public yet. And the prosecution is going to lay out its case against Tyler Robinson. And I'm told it's a whopper. I'm told they've got this guy dead to rights. And meanwhile, you have government officials.
They usually do have you dead to rights when they're framing you. Now, I'm not saying that they framing this young man, because I don't know. But at the end of the day, if they were to frame somebody, of course they'd have it dead to rights, or that would be defeating the purpose of them wasting their time planting evidence or whatever they do when they frame people. Please pay attention.
That are now saying on the record to journalists they are willing to testify on behalf of the defense to get, ostensibly, to get Tyler Robinson off the hook for something that he did. And so the level of betrayal that I currently feel is dramatic and extreme. The level of just frustration, the idiocy that is on full display, we have to call it out, because if this ends up screwing up the jury pool, if this ends up in some ways getting a hung jury, getting this case thrown out, or even just getting the death penalty off the case, off the potential list.
Shut up. Okay, I don't want to hear anything he has to say. He just sounds like he's just trying to cover up stuff too. I'm sorry, that's what it sounds like to me. Because, like I said, if you really were so concerned about your friend and all of that, let's go to what Joe Rogan has to say. I'm putting up the overlay so I don't forget. But here's the thing, if you're really so concerned about your best friend and now he passed away, well, you should want to hear what everybody has to say about it who has some credibility. Okay, like Joe Kent, they don't even know exactly what the man has, what he was working on when he was conducting the investigation before it was halted. They don't know what he clearly thinks and any of that, but you don't even want to hear it because you're concerned that it might damage this case over here. But what if that's not the truth, though? Okay, so it's just all very sketchy. All sketchy.
Video? No. Pull that video up because it's one of my favorites. A mysterious 8-month disappearance in 2008 has ignited intense scrutiny over Erika Kirk's past, raising questions that refuse to go away. After winning a pageant in 2007, Erika abruptly withdrew from public life, isolating herself completely, an absence now seen as highly unusual for a college student. Years later, footage from a 2015 Trump rally shows her alongside then-boyfriend JT Massey and a young girl whose age eerily aligns with that missing period, fueling speculation about a possible undisclosed child. Additional details deepen the intrigue. An ultrasound labeled with her maiden name, ties to Liberty University's Unwed Mothers program, and inconsistencies surrounding her pregnancies with Charlie Kirk. As scrutiny intensifies, critics question whether Charlie was unaware, complicit, or part of a larger calculated image. With conflicting timelines, unexplained gaps, and mounting online investigation, the story has evolved into a tangled narrative of secrecy, identity, and potential cover-up. A mysterious 8-month disappearance in 2008 has ignited intense scrutiny over Erika Kirk's past.
Sorry, you all, I was getting the next video loaded. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, I found that all interesting too when I first saw it. Here's the next clip, says Erika Kirk told on herself.
You hate her. Erika just told on herself, and I don't think she realizes it. A lot of other people are clocking it too. Going back to September 8th, 2 days before Charlie dies. Last live show that he did, he was in his office on the Charlie Kirk show. Framed on the bookshelf behind him is his wedding photo. Then on September 9th, a couple of very odd things happened, not relating to Charlie, but relating to Charlie and Erika. Erika herself in interviews after his death explained that he ended up sleeping in their daughter's room. She herself being the one to tell him to go sleep in their daughter's room the night before he died. Her reason being because he wasn't sleeping well. So sharing that her husband wasn't wearing his wedding ring, adding that he had to come back in the bedroom the next day into their bathroom to get his wedding ring. But then insiders share that they had a priest come to their house the night before his death. Not to pray over Charlie and the college debate he was attending the next day. He was there to pray over their marriage and Erika. We're talking the same night a priest showed up at their house to pray over their marriage. He also did not sleep in the bedroom with his wife and did not wear his wedding ring. But wait, there's more. Because the following day, September 10th, we all know what happened. After Charlie's death, we got Erika Kirk in mourning. But by this point, Erika had already told on herself and her marriage. She just didn't realize it. All thanks to this teary-eyed interview, September the 12th, 2 days after her husband's death, where she held her podcast inside of her husband's office, where she herself admits to not having been inside of his office for a very long time. What is very obviously missing in his office? Their framed wedding photo. Everything else is in its place, but not that, and she doesn't even realize it because she's not the one who took it down. So who would take down the framed wedding photo of Charlie and Erika? That gorgeous reminder of their union. Easy. The last person to have access and who was in Charlie's office, Charlie himself. Which was why she had no idea just by filming in her husband's office that she was telling on herself. And whether Charlie did this intentionally or not tells us a whole lot more about the truth behind not just Erika and Charlie, but Erika herself. A lot of people questioning the rumors that a billionaire was trying to come in to Turning Point USA, that Erika was happily encouraging this while Charlie was actively fighting it.
Okay, so what do you all think about that? Because that was juicy. When she pointed that out, okay, Selma says, Charlie discovered the truth and had a change of heart, and his wife was already in line to take his place. You know, this reminds me of when Sonny Bono was killed. Now, they want us to believe, which I never have, that Sonny Bono, I have to talk about that on an episode of True Crime or something, but they wanted us to believe that Sonny Bono was skiing. He was an avid skier, by the way, and skied into a tree. Now, some have speculated that it was actually members of the Russian mafia that took him out on the ski slopes. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's continue, because here's the rich kid who claims to have the scoop on Erika. He's a billionaire's Nepo baby, supposedly. And when I tell you the conservatives went in on him when he posted his videos about Erika Kirk,
So, about a year ago, I was brutally canceled off the internet for having a billionaire father as well as political connections. But tonight, I'm going to use that privilege to expose what really happened with Erika Kirk. Because once you understand how these elite circles actually operate, the entire mystery around her becomes incredibly obvious. So, take a seat, grab a bag of popcorn, because I might get deleted for posting this. So, in order to fully understand what happened with this crazy bitch, you need to understand the fundamentals of politics themselves. So politics operate very much like a social club with a social hierarchy. So at the very top, there are the billionaires who write 9-figure checks to the puppet class, also known as politicians, who in return give the billionaire class undying loyalty on the issues that matter to them most. Now, the most important thing for you to drill in your fucking head to really understand the story is that you may look at a President Obama, for example, and think that he is at the top of the social pyramid. That is absolutely not true. When there are these private dinner meetings with billionaires and with past presidents or potential future presidents or even a current president, they're at the very bottom of the fucking barrel. If you were to compare it to a social hierarchy in a high school, for example, the billionaire is the superintendent of the entire school board. And a President Obama, for example, is like the president of student council. He actually has no power over the school whatsoever. It's completely performative. Every single time you've ever voted, you are really voting for someone that was handpicked for you by a billionaire who doesn't want to run themselves because they are busy ruining the planet. And honestly, being a politician is seen, as I said, in these social circles, at these dinner parties, as a very lowly job. So in summary, every single person who has made it to the level of a vice president or a president is nothing but a billionaire's bitch. So then this brings us to the fundamentals needed to understand the story of Charlie and Erika Kirk. So in 2018, a former pageant queen, Miss Arizona, Miss Erika Franzfey, stumbled into the brand new Turning Point USA office in Phoenix, Arizona. While she was there, she very quickly bumped into Charlie Kirk, who then flew her to New York City for her job interview at a burger joint, a restaurant called Bill's Burgers. At which point during the job interview, Charlie Kirk said, "Forget the interview, forget the job. I actually think I'm going to date you," because that's super professional, but that's what happened. Erika completely jumped at the chance to date Charlie because he was already anointed by the billionaire class that funded and controlled Turning Point USA as the person that was going to be the next president of the United States. This was not something that was a secret. This was not something that was implicit. This was something that was explicit in several conversations. Everybody knew that Charlie Kirk one day would run to be president, and it was a running comment, a running joke that Erika Kirk would one day be the first lady. This was her life goal, and this was the plan, and the only reason in 2021 she married Charlie Kirk. She did not marry.
Now, this all is making sense, people. Please pay attention. I absolutely believe him, because is that why she was all over Vice President J.D. Vance just a few days after her husband was assassinated? Do y'all remember that? Remember how she was all flirty with J.D. Vance? So is that why she was doing all of that? Because what he's saying definitely is adding up. Okay, Nene said he's spitting facts. Okay, Reggie says, I believe it. Okay, and then absolutely High Kick CT said they always send women for the setup. Exactly. Okay, so this is all making sense. This is all making sense, but let's continue.
Charlie, she married the trajectory of the presidency and proximity to power, which is what she always wanted. Erika Kirk was never a stay-at-home wife. She was the operator. She hosted the donor dinners, she schmoozed the billionaires, she sealed the checks, and she ran all of the events. This is documented. Charlie was nothing but the face. He was the schmuck, the puppet that went to university to embarrass college kids, to then clip them on social media and raise money for his political campaign disguised as a charity. That's all it ever was. And Erika was the one that upkept and fostered the relationships with the billionaire class. The agreement for them was very simple. Do what you're told, ride the youth wave to the White House, and then become president and first lady of the United States. But things didn't go quite according to plan, because somewhere along the line, Charlie Kirk grew the tiniest little piece of a spine. So in 2024, Charlie began defecting on some issues that were very important to the billionaires that owned him, specifically issues regarding foreign policy. The donors began to panic that their puppet was defecting on the only issue that actually matters to them. So they attempted.
Let me go back to something else that he said that also lends credibility to what he's saying, in my opinion. When he says that these presidents are some billionaires' bitch, and that they were handpicked by certain billionaires, I absolutely believe that too, because you all know that I've always been telling you how word on the curb was that David Geffen was the one who funded President Obama's campaign, because he was upset with Bill and Hillary Clinton, allegedly. And so he did not want Hillary to win. So he said, let me get someone who the Black people will vote for instead of her, because of course she's a Democrat and we disproportionately have always voted for Democrats, right? And so I think this is all making sense, honey. This young man is spilling all the tea and I'm here for it. Let's continue.
To appeal to him through the only lever of control they had left, which was his wife. Erika then began pestering Charlie every single night, which put immense strain on their marriage. Support the war, do what you're told, you're ruining everything that we built together. And it actually got to the point where this is documented that a priest had to be called to pray over their collapsing marriage, which I believe detonated the night of September 9th, the night before Charlie was murdered. Erika herself admitted on national television that at 2:30 in the morning, she urged Charlie to sleep alone in their daughter's room so he could rest better before Utah. In the morning, Charlie grabbed his ring and his necklace from the bathroom and left for this huge, very important event without saying goodbye to his wife. It's been reported that shortly before his assassination, he messaged one of his friends saying, "It feels like it's over." A lot of people interpreted this as him talking about his life, but I think it's very obvious he was talking about his marriage. I think the night of September 9th, there was a fight, and Charlie and Erika decided that they would be getting a divorce. Now, I believe the only explanation that makes any sense is around the same time of Charlie messaging his friends that it's over in reference to his marriage. Erika also messaged the donors saying it's over, not only in reference to her marriage to Charlie, but in reference to all hope being lost that he would ever come back to their side politically, because he literally texted other people that he would be leaving the Israel cause. Now, from the donor's perspective, the looming divorce between Charlie and Erika not only could represent the end of Turning Point USA from an optics perspective, would be absolutely catastrophic, but also represents the fact that the very last string on their puppet, which was Erika, is gone. So they had no choice but to do what the mob does when you don't listen to them after you take their money, which is to get rid of you. And we all know what happened next. Conveniently, a 22-year-old from 142 yards away with the best shot in the entire world got rid of Charlie just in time to save Turning Point USA and anoint the new CEO, which is, of course, Erika Kirk. Just in time, right before Charlie was able to announce the divorce or the fact that he was leaving the cause. Nobody in the history of political assassinations has ever acted as bizarre as Erika Kirk. And I think that thing we're all registering as inauthenticity is actually guilt. Not only did Erika Kirk immediately accept the lone gunman narrative that doesn't make any sense for a multitude of reasons, she actually scolded the public for demanding answers and for being skeptical. The only reason she's not demanding answers is because she knows exactly who did it and why. Within 72 hours of the assassination, the domain Vance Kirk 2028 was purchased. Erika immediately sprints to take the throne of her dead husband by becoming CEO of Turning Point USA and publicly forgives the shooter on camera before we can even actually establish if he really was the killer or if he acted alone. Bullshit, and if you believe that, you are a fucking idiot. And just this week, the Orange Puppet appointed her to sit on the exact same seat on the US Air Force Academy Board that Charlie once had, advising on foreign policy, the very foreign policy that created the emotional turbulence in her marriage with Charlie, leading to a divorce, and also the same foreign policy that ultimately got him killed. 2028.
Said you can expect to see her name in 2028 on the VP list. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. It's juicy, honey. Okay? Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm reading some of these comments. Okay, since you prophetic bastard said Queen, when I'm out, I randomly hear Queen. When I'm out, I randomly hear Queen's voice in my head. Sit down somewhere. Okay, beloved.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
I have never been so scared in my entire life because the information I am about to expose right now is going to completely ruin.
Hey, we don't need to watch this now because we already got him saying it, but hold on. Let's go to his next clip or this next clip. Because I don't know if you all have seen this, but I thought it was very interesting. Hold on. Here we go. Now, have y'all heard about this other Erika Kirk? Okay, whose husband's initials were CK? I found this very interesting. Okay, yeah, they just said, what about her credentials? Exactly. Well, you know, in the Trump administration, beloveds, you don't need credentials. Okay, who needs credentials, right? They don't need them. Now, let's get into this.
Erika Kirk. Another Erika Kirk. Same exact name, same exact spelling, both political wives, both married to outspoken Republicans. Current Erika is nicknamed Miss Arizona, and the first Erika was nicknamed Madam X. People called the first Erika Kirk Madam X because they say she just kind of showed up out of nowhere. Both have striking blue eyes and blonde hair. They even do their eyeliner the same, and personally, I think they have the same face structure. The first Erika Kirk passed away now, but was from Palm Beach County, Florida, which raises another huge red flag. If you've been following my videos, you know why. I don't want to tell you guys what to think. I'm simply giving you the information.
Now, I want you all to look at them. I want you all to look at them. They look very much alike. Okay, very much alike, and they have the same name. Y'all don't find that interesting? Both married husbands with the same last name. Y'all don't find this kind of crazy. But let's continue.
You think these are like all coincidences, or is there something else going on here? This is Erika Kirk. Another Erika Kirk. Same exact name.
That's very interesting. But let's go to this other clip. I'm just trying to figure out how that's even possible. I mean, even if you have a doppelganger, what are the chances that the person who looks like you marries a man with the same last name in the same field, basically?
All right, hop y'all asses in here and sit down. And I mean, for this shit, you better sit on your hands and zip your lips, open your ears, and open your mind. This shit, this is the most, listen, I don't think I ever brought y'all anything like this. Let's begin. We all know who this person is, right? That's EK. This is also Erika Kirk. That was her name. And this was Erika Kirk's husband, Claude Kirk. EK and CK. I can't make this shit up. Erika Carola Matfield Kirk, born July 7th, 1934. Sundown at April 26, 2023. Was a German-born actress who served as the First Lady of Florida from 67 to 71. Married to the 36th Governor of Florida, Claude R. Kirk Jr. This is another picture.
Now, I want you all to think about that. She was married to the governor, and they say Erika Kirk has political ambitions and wanted Charlie to be the president and her to be the first lady. Okay, I find this all very interesting. Now, someone said time travel. That's clearly what it seems like. Or is it timeline jumping? But let's continue.
Picture of Erika Kirk and her husband, Claude Kirk. EK and CK. Another picture of Erika, kind of looking like Britney, but we ain't gonna talk about none of that shit. Let's go. Her first role as First Lady from 67 to 71. Her introduction at the 1967 inaugural ball was considered a shocking moment in Florida politics, as Claude Kirk had been a bachelor upon taking office. They were set up on a blind date too. I couldn't make this shit up if I got up and used my wildest imagination, okay? Based on recent unrelated news reports from 2025, there is a distinct younger person named Erika Lane Kirk, who is a conservative activist and widow of Charlie Kirk, CK. Erika Matfield Kirk is the former First Lady of Florida mentioned above, not to be confused with the younger individual in recent news. Okay.
Please notice that they both spell their names the same, because Erika is usually spelled with a C rather than a K, and they both spell their name with a K. I thought that was also interesting.
Make this shit up. Look at this face. Please look at this face. Take it in. Take it in, guys. Take it in. I cannot make it up. I can't. I wouldn't. They even twinning on the obituary, okay? They twinning for real. That whole thing about consciousness transferring and everything, it just really doesn't seem too far-fetched right now. Now listen, y'all, I'm not saying that this girl right here and this lady is the same person. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, however, the similarities just really blow my wig back. You know, my bonnet sliding off. That's how much this shit blow my wig off, okay? Get the fuck out of here. Listen, go to the comments. Tell me what y'all think.
Okay, I thought that was very interesting. Okay, so now let's go to Candace, because Candace has some text messages. Now I'm going to put an overlay on this. That was really interesting, right? And I saw that like a month or so ago.
Now, if Andrew Colvet's story that he is now telling the public is true, he was at home with his wife in Santa Barbara when Charlie was shot, and then he mysteriously waits for 3 hours until he flies private with his wife at 3:19 p.m. Utah time. I'm going to keep everything in Utah time today because it's just easier that way, because you don't have to worry about the time changes. Okay, so 3 hours, almost exactly 3 hours. He departs Santa Barbara. I could get him a private plane faster than that. I'm going, what? That's not, nope. He told me he sprinted, whatever. That would mean that during that 3 hour time frame in Santa Barbara, Andrew Colvet should have been available, right? To freely communicate with the team, the press, till that flight departs at 3:19. That's his job. That's literally his job. That is not what these messages reveal. These messages that I'm about to show you, they are in Pacific time. So you're going to have to adjust them all forward 1 hour in your mind. At this time, it's Arizona time. And at this time, Arizona is on Pacific time. So I'm going to do that already when I discuss these messages 1 hour forward. And don't worry, I'm then going to show you a nice, clean calendar entry so that you can take a screenshot and understand how this went down with the details of the communications afterwards so that everything is crystal clear. At 1:02 Utah time, so 39 minutes after Charlie at 12:23, Andrew Colvett messages the group and he says, he's telling them for communications, we can confirm publicly that he's been, take a look at this, okay? In this group, we have Justin Strife, we have Andrew Colvett, we have Marina Minez, and we have Aubrey, who is later going to be fired over an Uber ride that Marina overhears. Here's that text chain, okay? So at 1:29 p.m., again, I'm adjusting forward, Utah time, he is then informed that CNN wants to have someone on the show. Everyone's reaching out, right, to speak about it. And he instantly says no. Just a minute later, at 1:30 p.m., he is asked, can Morgan do a news hit at 8 p.m. Eastern? And there's no response. Okay, so at 1:30 p.m., there's no response from Andrew till almost exactly 2 hours later at 3:25 p.m. Again, this is Mountain Time. 3:25 p.m. Utah time, he asks back, is she on Fox? Like, is Morgan on Fox? And then he replies to that initial question that was sent to him at 1:30, and he declares why he's been absent for 2 hours. So he's following up, and he says at 3:26, sorry, on the plane, this just loaded. This just loaded. It's an important way of describing something. In other words, I am sorry that it has been 2 hours and I did not reply to you. I didn't get this message because this just loaded now. Okay. Maybe you're coming into land, whatever it is. Now all your messages are starting to load. Messages, as we know, cannot load when you are on a plane if it's a plane that doesn't have Wi-Fi. He is saying that the messages just came ineffectively. Do we agree? That's what that means. This just loaded. This time frame from 1:30 Utah time up until 3:25 Utah time matches within the time frame that Charlie's plane is traveling. Andrew shouldn't have even taken off, nothing. Okay? I'm showing you this is Charlie's plane, and that plane is going to leave at 2:31 p.m. from Scottsdale and land into Provo at 3:31 p.m. And we're going to be told that Erika and Tyler and Elizabeth McCoy and Stacey Sheridan are on this plane. But this text chain makes it look like it's Andrew. Okay. Now I can tell you more, giving even more credence to the claim that Andrew was unavailable because he was on a plane during that time is the fact that Marina Minez, the chief marketing officer, personally called Aubrey at 2:05 p.m. Utah time and asked her to draft a statement, which was going to go out to the entire staff because here's what's crucial, because Andrew's currently on a plane and I don't have it within me to draft this statement. Can you, Aubrey, draft this statement? Essentially, Aubrey, the 26-year-old, is now responsible for the unbelievably emotionally heavy statement that has to be drafted in Andrew's stead because he's on a plane. Now,
Okay, so it's all very interesting. Okay, so let's go to this next clip from Candace. Candace has been digging into this for months.
About, I think I had it was like 33 minutes before he was killed.
exactly 33 minutes before he was killed. Not a minute over, not a minute under. It's always 33.
Erika Kirk, the key to everything unlocked, and the secrets of the number 33. Here is 2 things that you need to learn.
And all these people.
3 years before Erika met Charlie, she's here with Donald Trump, her military-influenced mother, and Tyler Boyer, who wanted to move to Arizona, but Charlie wasn't up for it.
Because he's a Chicago boy.
Sure.
And I got him here, and he was a little cautiously optimistic about what Arizona.
Then, unbelievably, Tyler admits this on television.
And then he met Erika, and that was an easy sell.
That sealed the deal.
That sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Following the shocking events, Erika gains more power. And don't forget this number, 33.
In less than 36 hours. 33 to be precise.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I find that interesting. They keep talking about the number 33, and you all know that's a Masonic number, the 33 degrees of Masonry. Okay, so now let's go to this video posted yesterday. Candace Owen on Erika went to a weird place on September the 10th.
the building that Erika was allegedly in when she found out from the doctor that Charlie was not going to make it. I'm going to show you that. So you have Atlantic there on the right. We're now coming inward. Yep, pointing that in the mouse. We're now coming inward. It's this rather obscure building. Why would Erika be in that building? Allegedly. Why would Erika be in that building? Walk me through that. You don't know your husband is about to be shot, even though she did actually say when he got shot, I effing knew it. That was the sentence that came out of her mouth. But, you know, in a way, maybe she meant like, oh gosh, he was so scared. Like I knew something. I had a bad feeling that day. I knew it, right? What is Hopkinson? How do we get to Hopkinson Aircraft? Did somebody have a thought? Let's see if we can buy a plane. Why are we heading there? Why are we staging there in this obscure building of Hopkinson Aircraft, which is not known to anybody, right? This is the building that Erika was allegedly in.
Okay, now in the words of Dr. Umar, y'all don't find that suspicious? Okay, y'all don't find that suspicious? Because I surely do. Let's continue.
Republicans in Israel might have shot themselves in the foot with this Charlie Kirk thing, because Erika Kirk's story is coming out and the Republicans are freaking out over it. So if you don't know what's going on, Charlie Kirk's wife won Miss Arizona, a beauty pageant, when she was, I think, 17. She had never contested before. Someone just told her, hey, you could be a beauty pageant. And guess what company she worked for? Guess who she worked for as in the beauty pageant? Donald Trump. Right after she won the beauty pageant, she ended up creating a Christian ministry that works with children and went to go work with the Romanian government. So now you have all these conservatives on TikTok and on Twitter asking, what kind of power does a 17-year-old have to create a Christian ministry to go work with the Romanian government, to go for orphans? Now, here's the funny thing. At the same time that her ministry was in Romania working with the Romanian government, Romania went through a massive case of children missing. So the Romanian government kicked her, like her Christian organization that was in Romania to help Christian babies. The Romanian government told her to get the fuck out the country because something just doesn't add up. Because her ministry is linked with too many children going missing. I swear, go on TikTok, go on Twitter right now, search Erika Kirk. That's all you'll see. Everyone is talking about how the fuck she was 17. She won a beauty pageant under Trump's agency. And then right after she won the beauty pageant, she went to Romania, started working with children. Children started going missing, and the Romanian government kicked her out.
Okay, now I definitely thought that was suspicious. But they'll tell you that's a conspiracy theory. Let's go to this next clip where a woman claims that basically they were supposed to go speak at a college, but because Erika Kirk was coming there with Turning Point USA, she complained about them coming, and then they got canceled.
I was really frustrated that you guys weren't able to have the counter tabling for the On F America tour, and that really pissed me off, especially because we have some really good people that could be on campus to counter program that.
Hold on, let me go back so I can see what that comment said. Hold on, dang it.
Counter program that.
Okay, it says ASU approved our event with Destiny. Then Erika Kirk at Mrs. Erika Kirk shows up and complains. Hours later, it's canceled. Now, they had already been approved.
It is our right to express our freedom of speech on every public university campus across this country.
So we are still showing up at ASU on Monday, and we're going to exercise our First Amendment rights peacefully and publicly.
I'm sure the ASU thought that we were just going to take this lying down.
They don't get to decide who has a voice on campus.
This isn't just an attack against national ground game. This is an attack against Democrats all across the country.
So we'll see you Monday. See you soon, Erika.
And you know, the thing is, they didn't want those people coming there because they support the Democrats. Now, this is my opinion. And at the end of the day, we know that Turning Point USA is going to college campuses simply to indoctrinate young people to sway them into voting Republicans and becoming conservatives. Okay, so that's what that's all about. And remember how they started going to the black campuses, the HBCUs, okay, and they weren't welcome, so they stopped going because you're not going to brainwash them, okay, and try to influence them on what to do and how to do it and who to vote for or whatever. But that's what their whole objective is, okay, and they don't want anyone speaking against that, which to me within itself is sketchy because, you know, if you're so strong on your stance and you're doing so much good and all of that, why do you fear someone saying the opposite or someone debating or challenging you on what you view? Okay, make it all make sense. Now, with that all being said, this is the last clip and then we're out of here.
Yes, indeed. And it was 2 days before his assassination. And I find Ben yes, indeed.
Okay.
And it was 2 days before his assassination. And I find Ben Shapiro's facial expression even more interesting.
Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, on it's like maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, you know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be? And how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
And not only that, he even questioned the Israeli government's reaction on October 7th.
I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu is basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF.
And not only that, he even went to the Oval Office, talked to Donald Trump about not attacking Iran.
He was one of the only people, I mean, truly one of the only people to go to the president whom he loved. He loved Donald Trump, like personally as well. And I think the president really loved him in a real way. But he was one of the only people to go to the Oval Office and say, sir, I totally understand and think Iran's really bad, but a war with Iran is not, is something that could really hurt our country. I mean, boy, that was an unpopular position. He didn't need to express it. Oh, of course. And he did it again. He didn't have some weird agenda. He wasn't mad at anybody. He was for his country and he was for doing the right and wise and difficult thing. And
yeah, I feel like I fell into a rabbit hole. I think it's because truth can change people's mind. Even people like Charlie Kirk. The evilness of Israeli regime is just so obvious that even people like him almost figure it out. And his life is stopped while he's figuring it out.
Let me tell you all something that I find interesting. After Charlie Kirk's passing, and then to find out all this stuff, how he was changing his viewpoints on BB and them, I thought that was very interesting, and I absolutely feel like that would be a motive for some people, not saying who, but for someone to possibly want to do something to him. And also, if you remember, when I did the story on Princess Diana, it has also been alleged that she may also have been taken out of here, not only because she didn't get along with the royal family, and because she was with Dodi Fayed, but also because of her stance on the Palestinians. They say she was about to start speaking up about them, speaking up for them. With that all being said, think about that. We're not even supposed to talk about them. You better not say anything about freeing them, okay? And we know how that all works out for some people, all right? So would that be a reason for Princess Diana or Charlie Kirk to be taken out of here? Ask yourselves that. But I will say this. Whoever the people are in any given situation that you're not allowed to speak about, that speaking about them is shunned, you're shunned for doing so, that lets you know who's running stuff. Okay, that lets you know who is running stuff. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. I hope you all got something out of it. All right. And until next time, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I will see you all in the morning for your with your morning wake-up call. Until next time, beloveds, peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got